Alright, what is up guys? In today's video, you're going to learn how to make this super cool top-down shooter in Scratch. And by the end of this tutorial, this is what your game's going to look like. So make sure you stick around till the end to learn how to do it. And a special thank you to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. Let's get right into it.
Alright, so the first step is going to be going ahead and going into your new Scratch project. Go ahead and delete the Scratch Cut sprite, and we're going to go ahead and hit this button that says Paint. We're going to make a new sprite. And this is going to be our player for our game right now. And we're just going to make it a nice little gray color here with a little outline. And then hold down the Shift key while you're drawing with the circle tool. And this will allow you to create a perfect circle. So once you do this, that looks pretty good. Go ahead and drag it to the center of the little costume thing there. And then, oops, we drew a little bit extra there. Just going to delete that. And then once you finish this, we're just going to go ahead and go to the line tool. And we're going to make it a little bit thicker, maybe 10 on here. And then go ahead and draw some lines coming out of this for our arms here. Just like that. We're just going to copy that and flip it around. And just add the arms like that. We're going to drag them in a little bit. And once you do this, go ahead and highlight both of them and then hit the back button. That'll make them go to the back there. And then we're going to have a nice orange color for our Nerf laser dart gun here. And actually we're gonna make it, let's call it blue, yeah. Just a nice light blue color. No outline for this guy. And then go ahead and do this. Just like that. And then once you do this, we can go ahead and we're just gonna make this a little bit smaller. And we're gonna want this to pivot around our player here. Let's just make that a little bit smaller there. And then once you do this, go ahead and go to your code tab. And then we're gonna say, when green flag clicked, go to X0, Y0. So just go ahead and set that up like that. And then we're gonna do a forever loop. And then we're gonna always be pointing towards the mouse pointer. And if we try this out, we're going to see that our player will point towards our mouse pointer here. But one thing we forgot to do is we forgot to make it horizontal there. So go ahead and do this and then line it up just like that. And there we go. So now it will point towards the mouse. If we full screen it, we can see that, and it's working very nicely. And then once you do this, you can go ahead and go to make a new sprite. And then we're going to call this one laser. This is going to be our little laser tag bullet just to visualize it here. And then we're going to go ahead and make it a thickness of 12. Make it a red color here. And then go ahead and drag it out like that. Perfect. We're going to zoom in here. And then after you do this, just go ahead and center it up on our little thing here. And then we're going to do this one. We're going to say when green flag clicked, forever. And this one's also going to be pointing towards our mouse pointer here. And then we see our laser thing is good there. But we're also going to have to go to our sprite 1 sprite. So to do this without lag, we're going to go ahead and go to the backdrop sprite here. And then we're going to say when green flag clicked, and then go ahead and slap on a forever loop. And then we're going to say broadcast message 1. Inside the laser there, we're going to say when I receive message 1, we are going to go to our sprite 1. And for that matter, we're just going to point towards our mouse pointer. So just like that, we can see there's 0 lag, and it's doing that nicely. But the thing that we need to do is we need to have the bullet resting or the laser beam resting where the gun is. Okay, and to do this, we're going to go ahead and go to our laser sprite here. And we're going to center it where it should be there. And then we're going to say go to the back layer. Just like that. And then when I receive, or we're going to have a forever loop here, so go to when green flag clicked, hit forever, and then we're going to say if if the mouse is down, then we are going to create a clone of myself, and then we're going to wait until not mouse down. Just like that. And then we need a when I start as a clone block. No, that's not the right one. Say when I start as a clone, and then do show, and we also need to add a hide block here. So when the green flag is clicked, the sprite one is gonna laser sprite is gonna hide. When I start as a clone, show, and then move 10 steps. This is gonna have it move forward in the direction it's pointing, and then we're gonna repeat this until it's touching the edge, and then it's gonna delete the clone. So repeat until we're gonna be touching our edge here, and then we're gonna delete the clone. So we're gonna have to compensate for that by just going like that. And then forgetting about that message thing, that didn't work. Just like that, it is working very nicely. And we're just gonna have it move 10 steps. So boom, just like that, it's working nicely, and we can shoot our blaster here, and perfect. And now we just need some enemies, and then we can add some player health as well as enemy health, and then some player movement as well.
And if you're enjoying coding this game so far, I bet you would love Brilliant just as much as I do. Brilliant.org helps you excel in math and coding. With step-by-step interactive lessons and personalized practice, you get to learn by doing. But my personal favorite course on Brilliant is called Thinking in Code. And as you can see on the screen here, in this course, you learn how to instruct a car to deliver packages to their correct destinations in a city. And this is very effective and very fun because you learn by solving problems instead of just watching videos. And this is for kids and adults of all ages, from 10 to 110. And I believe that anyone can be good at math and coding, and Brilliant helps you unlock that potential. To learn for free on Brilliant for a full 30 days, go to brilliant.org/hopperspaniel, scan the QR code on screen, or click on the link in the description. Brilliant's also given our viewers 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant.
So in our player sprite here, we're gonna go over here, we're gonna say, if key right arrow pressed, or if key up arrow pressed, we're going to move 2 steps. And we're going to try that. And we're actually going to do key W. I think WASD would be easier here. If key W pressed, we're going to move forward 2 steps. And now we can shoot while we move here. And you'll always walk towards the direction that the mouse is pointing here. And then, okay, this is working nicely now. And now we just need, okay, I think our bullets need to move faster as well. So we're going to go ahead and say move 12 steps. And that's just a perfect speed. And now we're going to start to program some enemies into our game. So we're going to make our little zombies here. So go ahead and make a new sprite, and we're going to call it zombies. And then after this, we're just going to have not a nice, because they're mean zombies. Nice zombies, don't worry. And then we're going to have a fill color of that green color and an outline of black, and it's going to be 4. And we're just going to make this for reference here. Just make a nice circle for reference. And then go ahead and copy this one over so it's the same exact size. And then paste it in, zoom in, and then we're going to have a fill color of that green. Here we go. And now we have our zombie here. Get the line tool and set it to 10. And then we're going to have the arm sticking straight out like that. Set that up, copy, paste. And then go to the back layer. And we're actually going to need this zombie to be a little smaller, so I guess it just is, there we go. Center there. Okay, now for the zombies to be able to spawn in, we want them to go to random positions on the stage here. So we want it to be coming in from the edges of the screen here. And then we're just going to set this up, we're going to have a little bit of randomness. So create a new variable and call it random. And we're going to say for all sprites here. And then we're going to say when green flag clicked, and then do a forever loop. We're going to wait, let's say 5 seconds, and then we're going to set our random variable to pick random 1 to 4, because there's going to be 4 sides of our stage. And then if the random variable equals 1, we're going to set our Y position. Actually, before we do this, go ahead and go to your zombie sprite in the costume editor tab and make a transparent rectangle here and just draw it over the entire thing so it can go off screen. It's a little hack. So once you do this, we're going to say, we're going to need to find our Y position here, so we're going to change Y by 10 and then, okay. If random equals 1, set Y to 197 and then set X to pick random negative 220 to 220. And then we're going to create a clone of myself. And then just like that. And then when I start as a clone, we're going to repeat until touching sprite 1, which is our player sprite. Repeat until touching sprite 1. We're going to point towards sprite 1, and then we're going to move 2 steps. Go ahead and do that, and then hit delete this clone. But also, if we are touching the laser, so if touching laser, then delete this clone. And then we're going to open up our full screen thing and see how this runs. Okay, it's not really working. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, it's because our random variable probably didn't select our correct thing, so we need to make sure we do our due diligence here and just make sure we set everything up before we test it out. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and do this, and then if random equals 2, we're going to set our X to, okay, if random equals 2, set Y to negative 197, just like that. And then if random equals 3, we can go ahead and clear this out. And then we can set the Y to pick random, let's say, negative 160, negative 160 to 160 here. And then set our X to, let's say, negative 250, negative 260. And then create the clone of myself. And then we're going to say the same thing for that, but then make it set X to 260. And then we're going to see how this runs. Okay. Okay, right now it is, there we go, it's working nicely here. And it's spawning in from a random position here. But the trouble is we made the same mistake as we did originally, where our zombie's pointing the wrong direction. So just go ahead and angle this like that. And then boom, we're gonna test it out. And man, okay, those zombies are moving quick, so I think we're gonna need to slow them down a lot. We're gonna go ahead and move 0.5 steps, move 1 step. That's working a lot better. So now the zombies are coming in and they're chasing the player down there, and you have to avoid them. Okay, but to make this more challenging, because it's pretty easy as it is, but we're going to do a new variable. And, okay, before we do this, we're going to say when green flag clicked, we're going to hide that original thing. When I start as a clone, you're going to show up. That's just a little bit of cleanup work. So, what was I saying? Okay, so to make this more challenging, we're going to create a new variable, and you're going to call it difficulty, or timer. Let's call it timer. Go ahead and call it timer there. Excuse me, and then say, we're going to say when green flag clicked, set timer to 5. And then you're going to say wait timer seconds. And then every time a new zombie comes, let's think about this. We're gonna have the timer decrease a little bit, so the zombies are gonna spawn in a little bit faster. So at the bottom here, you're gonna say change timer by negative 0.1, and we're just gonna run through it to see how that works. So we have our nice thing here. Our zombies are coming in hot. Just shoot them down here, or just hit them with the laser gun, the blaster here. And these guys are coming in now, so you just gotta get rid of them like that. And then you can't really tell right now, but they are spawning in faster as we continue on with this here. And just need to go around and clear them out. Okay, so you get the idea. So the zombies are gonna be coming in faster and faster the more you eliminate, and that's gonna add it up there. So now we need a nice score. So we're gonna create a variable and you're gonna call it score. Hit for all sprites. And then when I start, when the green flag clicked on this laser sprite, you're gonna say set score to 0. And then underneath our zombie thing here, if we're touching the laser, you're gonna change the score by 1 before you delete the clone there. And then that's gonna make it where we can we can have a score in our game. And if we eliminate a zombie, our score increases by 1. And you're going for your highest score. But also to make this, give this an element of, I guess, like an actual game, you're going to need a health system. So we're going to go ahead and have, I think 3 lives for our player will work nicely. So just go ahead and we're going to paint here. I'm going to do my best here to, you know what, does Scratch have a heart? Does Scratch have a heart sprite? Let's see. Okay, yeah, they have a heart. So go ahead and go over here. We're just gonna do the red one. Have no outline here. Make it smaller there. Perfect, just like that. Center it up. And then we're gonna think we need to position it underneath that. Do you think that thing looks good? So then go ahead and just say when green flag clicked, we're going to go to X negative 214, y negative 215, keep it even there, y 125. And then we're going to make a new block and we're going to call it render health. You're going to run this without screen refresh, and then inside that it's going to be creating clones of myself. So create a clone of myself and then change X by 30. We're going to try that first. We're probably going to have to redo this. And then repeat that 3 times. And we're going to see how this works. Okay, we're just going to hide that. So say when green flag clicked, hide. And then when I start as a clone, you're going to show up. And then say change X by 40 there. Okay, that works nicely there. We have our 3 hearts there for our 3 lives. And to make this actually mean something, we're gonna have to have a health variable here. So go ahead and make a new variable, and you're gonna call it health for all sprites. And go ahead and delete it there. Set health to 3. And then you also need a new variable, call it clone ID. Make that one for the sprite only. And then we're going to say set clone ID to 0 there, and then change clone ID by 1. Hide that clone ID one as well as the health variable. And then you're going to go ahead and say when I start as a clone forever, if if health is less than our clone ID variable, then you're going to delete this clone. There we go. And then if the zombie touches the sprite, it's going to change our health by -1. -1 there. We're going to see how this works. So we're just going to let a zombie hit us intentionally here. Okay. And then once it does, it's going to take away one of our, you saw that up there? It's going to take away one of our hearts up there on the top. And we're going to lose a life. Okay, but the game still continues, so if we do that, we're just going to say, when green flag clicked, or no, we're going to say all of this is going to be if our health is greater than 0. So just like that, our game runs nicely now. And it's kind of bland, so we're going to look to see, I don't know, does it, okay, I might need a background. Just let me know what you'll think in the comments if we need a part 2 of this. But I think we need to give it a nice, maybe a nice dirt background here. So get a nice earthy color here. Just like that here for the backdrop. No, that's not right. There we go. That's a nice color there. And now it's a lot easier to look at, and it's pretty.
So now that we have our background color selected, we're going to go ahead and go to the zombie spray. And then once we do this, we're going to go ahead and go make a new variable, and we're going to call this one speed. This is going to adjust our speed of our variables here. And once you have that one, it's just right there, speed. And then we're going to say when the green flag is clicked, we're going to set the speed to 1. And once we have that set, you're going to go over here where it says when I start as a clone. And then you're going to say move speed steps. And then once we do this, we're just going to adjust this so that every time a new one spawns in, we're going to change our speed variable by 0.05. But if we have this set up the way it is currently, it's going to make our game crash out because it's not going to have a limit to how many clones it can create, and as well as how fast they are. So we're just going to cap it. We're going to set some limits here. So go ahead and go back to the control tab, and you're going to drag out 2 if-then statements. Go ahead and drag the first one over here onto the, onto the change speed variable. And you're going to say if our speed is greater than, you know what? Okay, we're going to say if our speed is less than 4 here. If speed is less than 4, we're going to change our speed by 0.05. So that means if our speed, once our speed reaches 4, it's going to cap it where it can't get any faster. Because if it does get much faster than that, it's going to be pretty overwhelming. And we want the players to be competing against each other and not the game itself. So go ahead and slap the other if-then statement onto the change timer variable. And for this one, you're going to say if the timer variable is greater than 1.5, you know what, let's say greater than 1. We're going to try that out. Greater than 1 here. Okay, just like that. Okay, let's do 1.5. I'm having second thoughts here. Okay, so now that we have that set up, that should do it for this game. And if y'all want to, I can make a part 2 because we can add some cool like visual effects for when our zombies get hit by the blaster and stuff like that. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this tutorial, and thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.